Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Charlie.
An incarcerated individual at the Leon County Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, so good. I just maybe 10 minutes ago got a text back from Dan, and he was going to reach out to them again. He's concerned that they're going to keep you there a few days, but I said no. Charlie, said they should be coming today. He says, all right, let me reach out to them again. And wait, hold on, let me read the text. Hang on a second. I just put you on speaker so I could read the text. I just wrote it. Dan, put in the call. It may take a couple of days of them observing, but I am going to call Welly. So he's going to do whatever he can do, unfortunately.
Supposedly the chief has to come, the chief of the jail, because the one that runs the entire jail, is going to come see me personally.
Who is Welly then? Is he the chief or there's someone else?
No, Welly's the sergeant who's in charge of classification.
All right. So maybe he has, I think, somewhat of a relationship with him.
Yeah, he has a relationship with him. Welly's good, and Chief Max is, he's the guy that Dan was always calling in the beginning when I was trying to get out of solitary, and he just never returned phone calls. He runs the whole jail, so it's like, he knows what he wants to do. He doesn't want to anybody. So,
but he's free as heck on me. Oh gosh, let me just tell her. Hold on. Free. Talking to you now. Yeah. Okay. So Dad is much better. He's gonna be a little occupied. So I told you we hadn't spoken to anybody, and you asked how Wendy was doing, and I kind of knew, but didn't say anything. So I said, we're all having a really hard time. And she came over. She's in the other room with Dad now. She told the boys, look, Charlie, everybody's just very sad right now. They couldn't go to school. She made them go this morning. And I think what will happen at some point is that be able to work it out, not maybe in a week or so, work it out so there's a time so that, his after school hours or whatever, and you'll be able to call and talk to him because he would like that. So they're going to be fine. They're kids, Things have a real bad. But I didn't know this until she came over because she didn't want to talk to me and tell me anything without being here in person.
All the things I wanted to do is I'll never get to do.
I don't want to get into detail. I just want you to know they love you. They love you, and they're sad, and they understand what happened. They totally understand what happened. They know that none of us had anything to do with it, and they are. It's sad. So, for now, we'll leave it at that. Just the grown-ups will talk, and in a week or so, they'll straighten out times, and so that you'll know that you have a set up time, and you could call, and you could talk to him, and then things will be as fresh, and everybody will be calmed down, and they'll be able to talk better. Okay. Right now, it's all too fresh, honey. Oh. And that's why this is not a time to tell your son. I mean, I know Bruce said, something with Roman. Roman knows nothing. Roman knows his dad is calling, and that's fine. Let us stay like Daddy is calling, and that's it.
Yeah, Ro doesn't know. He's happy. He gets on the phone with me. And he's like, yeah, this will all be over soon. And he said to me yesterday on the phone. He must have heard Rudy's mom say that to her. The kids just repeat. I don't even know what the hell they're repeating.
Right, of course. Well, no.
Like, yeah, it'll all be over soon. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got no idea.
Anyway, Dad's talking to her now, so I can't put either one of them on right now. That will happen. It won't happen right now. Okay. Meantime, you got me, you got Dan, and you got Bree, and we were hanging there until I sent Janice a copy of the pictures. I made like pictures of the copy of the Jerry's patio receipt, because they do it on the light green paper, and it's got like a old-fashioned carbon with blue writing. It's very hard to read, so I took lots of pictures, like close-up and distance, and the exact address of which Jerry's patio store it's at, and so I sent all that last night. Told her it wouldn't be ready until after the 11th, and so at that point, she could go get them. So I did that. What else? Dad's going to have to still arrange with the electrician to go to Whale Harbor, because he can't rent or sell a house that has no lighting working in the living room. So he's got to get it done one way or the other. So she's, not today, too many other things, but he's taking care of that. And if we can't do that, I have other people that are going to make calls to me and take care of some things. We have more important things to do. So we're getting things that were on a time frame. We're getting those things finished. So, yeah. So,
Three texted June. Funny, they're like talking like friends now. I guess people were pretty mean to June. Bree felt bad. She reached out to June. She's like, Bree's telling me that June is so sweet. She's like,
yeah, totally the same thing.
Yeah. She's like, June is really so sweet. She's like, she feels bad for her. She's like, she may not be the brightest goal, but she's sweet. She cares about you. And she was actually kind of, yeah.
Yeah. What was that? What did they put out, an APB for June Chinda? Can't find her.
Hold on a second. Can you find her? Hey, thank you. Hold on a second. Hey, thanks for coming through. All right, buddy. I hope to see you soon. No, it should be good, man. Thanks for checking on me. Just come back and say hi when you can. All right, yeah. That was one of the guys that are E2 that are trustee. He gets back to the fish.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah, that's the commissary.
Yeah, coming in to get my food back from that I gave him. That's nice. He usually said I gave it all away. Come back and give it to me. I'm sitting in solitary.
Because I got notification that something was delivered, but I don't know. Maybe they delivered it somewhere else.
No. When did you order it?
It was delivered. I'm trying to think if it said yesterday. I think something was delivered. It said your order has been delivered. That's why I always say to you, "Oh, did you get it, honey?" And you go, "Oh yeah, I did."
No, I don't know. No, I don't know what it was that you ordered.
I ordered a giant. That was
okay, but no, it doesn't come till Monday. You don't get delivered tomorrow.
No, Tuesday it was delivered. Yesterday.
Okay, well,
whatever.
When did you order it?
Let me go back and look at my computer.
Because you have to order by Sunday to get it for Monday. Remember you said you weren't ordering anything this week.
I know. I thought I wasn't. That was maybe from the previous week. I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Let me just go back inside.
You didn't order me anything because we thought I was coming home.
Right. Except why am I getting? I know. But I'm wondering why I'm getting something that it always comes after a delivery. So that's what I thought was odd. But I don't know. I'll tell you later. I'll look at it later. I don't want to bother with it now. So
You were saying that you have all points bulletin for June of Shinda?
say that again. You broke up.
They put out an ATV for June of Shinda.
You didn't hear that when they wanted her. Maybe you didn't hear the judge when June was supposed to testify.
Oh, they called her early. She told her to come at like 2:45, and I guess they were running ahead of time, so she went somewhere.
Oh, because that's what she said. And then her phone went off during. He says, "That was my alarm to come in." And they were
that's my alarm.
supposed to wait in that witness room, and she didn't wait. I guess she went for a walk, and so that's when the judge said, "Do you have a nice tour of the courthouse, June?" And she said, "Oh, no, I've been here twice before."
Yeah, she's like, she really thought he was asking her, like, "Oh, did you have her? What do you think of the courthouse?" I was like, "I've been here twice before." Like, she wasn't trying to be funny.
She didn't catch it. I know.
She was, I mean, and then like she was so nervous, and then her alarm rings off, and she's like, "Oh, that's my alarm to be here."
Yeah.
But you told her, "Oh, you need to be ready by 2 o'clock or something." I probably called her 1:15. So she just had left and set an alarm to be back at a certain time.
Yeah. So they,
She actually looked fantastic when she
looked gorgeous. Oh my God, I should have been that's June. She was gorgeous.
Yeah, she did her hair. She never does her hair. She probably wears makeup either. I wouldn't think she wore any makeup. She's just she looks fine. I mean,
she was beautiful.
Yeah, she was sweet.
I didn't know what they would believe when they said you still have feelings for him. She said, "Yes, I do. I still love him." I'm thinking, shit, is that good? Is that bad? It doesn't matter. There's nothing that she testifies to. Yeah, she's just being honest. And even Bree said, "You know what? She was just being super honest." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah. I mean, she told him, she's like, "Look, he was my last serious boyfriend that I had 5 years ago. Like, I haven't had a serious boyfriend since then." Like, I think it made me very likable that, like, somebody this sweet, 5 years later, still thinks that highly of me.
Not only that makes you likable, but when you testify, everyone said, "Oh my God, he's really like a nice guy." You know, you testified likable, and likability is a good thing.
I act like myself.
You weren't arrogant. You weren't anything like that.
Arrogant, you're uncomfortable, you're arrogant. Like, yeah, those adjectives that you use are describing somebody who's very unlikable who you want to convict. And like, you're taking little clips of how I look on a tape, or how my body language is, or how I'm talking to Katie in a cafe, and like, you're going to determine whether I'm guilty or innocent based on my how nervous and excited I was, and like upset I was, and like my head was spinning, and I'm just thinking out loud. Like, everyone's different. Some people just shut up in a situation; they clam up. Other people think out loud. Other people just think to themselves. Like, I'm definitely somebody that I have to think out loud.
I know. You say it over and over and over again. No evidence. How do you do that? No evidence. How do you do that? That's all I'm hearing from people. No evidence. How did they do that? Oh.
No evidence. But, oh no, we have he said on the tape, and I'm involved. Yeah, but I'm not involved. That's what I meant. And I would say it again, I'm involved, but I'm not involved. Like, I'm not involved in a murder. That's just what. But then you cut the sentence short, and you're like, oh, he says I'm involved. I say I'm involved, but I'm not involved. Like, it don't matter. Like, we got emails, we got Wendy's book. You talked to Wendy out of buying a house for 5 different reasons, not one reason. I mean, I could see if I said, hey, Wendy, here's one big reason not to buy a house. I said for 5 different reasons. Like, I would give
you take snippets. You take snippets that don't, or that are out of context, that don't mean anything, and you think that's yeah. Well,
that speaks to motive. Like, I guess you can't just say anything speaks to motive. You know, anything involving any communication I have with Wendy must speak to motive. Like,
I know.
You know, I mean, basically the way they put this case together, the way they point fingers at everything, they're just throwing everything in the pot of soup. I mean, it backed off a little bit at the end when they're like, did you say Wendy Adelson's on trial here? No, but the same evidence against Wendy is the same evidence against me. Like,
that's right.
She was showing up in his house that morning. Like, okay, well, if Wendy's not on trial, you're saying
about it?
Like, she either had knowledge, and that's why she went to the house, or she had no knowledge and was going to the same liquor store she always went to.
Right.
So she knew the route and went the old way. It was an extra 7 minutes out of her way. She didn't care. She was on autopilot. Like,
when Dan said when there's an alternative to what's being presented, and it makes sense, that's reasonable doubt. It just has to be reasonable doubt. It doesn't have to be anything more than just reasonable. He said, and it's beyond reasonable. Beyond. And he was.
I mean, and the way, I mean, I don't know if it was me, but when I was listening to her give jury instructions, it sounded like, y'all, if you feel, you know, that you think y'all are smart, if you think it's reasonable that he's guilty, then you vote guilty. Like,
I'm reviewing that today. I know exactly what was said. He was pulling it up. I know.
She made it sound like if you think the Chiefs are better than the Dolphins, vote for the Chiefs. Like, don't be silly. You know the Chiefs are better. Okay, I'll place my money on the Chiefs before the Dolphins, but not beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, what does a reasonable doubt mean? A first-degree murder case. Like, did the person present something that did happen, actually, that is different than what you think happened? It's not that. All the other coincidences people didn't want to hear. A coincidence is something that you can't explain.
Right.
It's just a coincidence. And there is no explanation for a coincidence. There is no explanation for the TV repairman, for the TV comment by you that the TV costs about $5, and that's the present that I bought Wendy when she got divorced. That's a fucking coincidence. Very ironic that TV gets brought up 3 times in the one declare. Very ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you said to me, what are the chances that the TV's getting fixed on the day that this happens, and that's her alibi, and you pick TV and talk to me? If you were a betting person, what would you say? Not even 1 in 100. You know, if you said, by having Wendy show up at the crime scene, she needs to have known about it, and that's why Wendy knew about it, and that's why she was showing up. People don't just randomly show up at their ex's house for no apparent reason and drive by at the same time that they're getting killed. An hour after and check to see if it was done.
Yeah.
I mean, did she drive that route? Yeah. Was she going to turn on that street? Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
What brought her to that place and time? Like,
crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's what you said to me the other day. It's like a movie crazy. Like, wait a minute. These things can happen. These coincidences. It's just a crazy coincidence, but It happens.
But what brought her to that place and time at that time on that day? Not an hour before, an hour after.
Yeah.
Like, it would have had to be, like, not 5 hours later, not 30 minutes before, but an hour later. I mean, dude, I had the 911 operators aunt come in for jury duty on the case. And we said, listen, to the judge, listen, there's going to be, we think it's a conflict because there's going to be some critique of how the 911 operator they wanted her off the jury, right? So we're like, you know, there's going to be some critique of how the 911 operator might have handled that call. We don't think his aunt should be on the jury listening to attorneys critique her nephew on how he was doing his job that day. She's supposed to be fair and impartial on the jury. They asked her, do you think you could be fair and impartial? You know what she said? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I've told that to people when from an attorney, and he says, no way you can get somebody on the jury like that. You have to go. You have to go. He said, and it shouldn't be up to the defense to have to use one of the clauses. That's an obvious they have to go. Because the judge can get involved in that.
Oh, no, she should be struck for cause. She was very adamant that she can follow the rule of law. I don't think her nephew was listed as a witness in the case. He may not have been listed. So he wasn't listed as a witness in the case. She can follow the judge's instructions, the rule of law. That's not going to affect how she handles the case. She's going to be hearing her nephew handle a 911 operator call from Geiger. Guess what? Judge allowed her to stay on.
They allowed her to stay on.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I didn't know she was on.
She was allowed to stay on. See, the way it works is this. First, they bring 152 people individually to a questioning in the back room. In the back room is me, Dan, Jeff Newman, one of his assistants, the judge, both prosecutors, and 2 sheriff's officers, and a court reporter. And then it's always the press. So one person from the press can come in at a time, sit there, and that's how they got that photo of me sitting there in a gray suit. So, so they said to her, can you set those feelings aside that you have, even if there's critique of the 911 operator call, and handle your duties as a juror. And she said, I absolutely can. He said, okay, we'll keep her. So then she gets put out into the audience, right? And then they keep 60 people for Wednesday.
Right.
So on Wednesday, there were 60 people. They call up jurors 1 to 21. They start asking all of them questions. The ones that answer wrongly, we eventually ask to get up and leave. You know, you're excused, you're excused, you're excused. Then those seats that are empty, they get filled with the next row of jurors, get put in there. And then they get more questions and questions and questions. Then once you have a panel of 21 up there in a row, and everybody's labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's a number system. Yeah, 21 seats. Then you can, once they have them, then you can start striking. Then you go into the back room, and let's say you sat like 40 potential jurors, right? On a sheet of paper, there's 42 that have been questioned. And then of the ones that are questioned, you know, let's say 10 are struck for cause. There's 42. And let's say 7 are struck for cause, and it brings you down to 30, right? And then out of the 30, each person gets to eliminate 10. Just just the order of one on. So he basically went from 42 to probably 35, and each got to kick off 10 out of the 35, and that's how you ended up with 15. So you realize that you started with 152. Out of 152, you got down to 60. Out of the 60, you got down to 42. And then out of the 42, you start asking questions. And, like, people only are allowed to stay on as long as they say, like, they can be a fair and impartial juror. Just follow the rule of law. Then, after 42, let's say there's, like, the guy from the Yankees said, I don't think I can judge the case. Like, he just finally said it because he needed to let go. So he got let go. And they got next to him who was the GM of a local restaurant chain. And he didn't want that restaurant chain to have any affiliation with him in the case. That's a fucking manager of 4 or 5 restaurants. He doesn't want to be associated with the case. Not the Yankees guy, but the fucking manager of the restaurant.
Oh.
So, you got Josh Newman, who did a fantastic job interviewing people, fantastic job asking them personal questions about themselves, really trying to find out how these people think, what kind of jobs they've had, where they've worked in the past, how they look at different situations. He asked the panel, like, is it odd if somebody keeps a large sum of cash in their house? Do you think it's, do you find it suspicious? Like, or do you have a problem with that? Or what does it make you think? And one lady was like, exactly like, what's a large sum of cash? And one lady's like, well, I think if someone has like $3,000 in cash in their house, that's very odd. Like that's an awful lot of money. And then one lady who was a black lady, whose husband or her father, she said her father was a roofer, was in the roofing business. And she said she remembers he had a top drawer in their house that had $150,000, she had like $100,000 to $200,000 in cash in her parents' house, or maybe he was in the construction business. And she said he had $100,000, $200,000, $250,000. She said her parents liked to keep cash, and he was in the business, and he kept his cash at home. And like, he wasn't involved in anything illegal, but he had like $200,000 in cash in the family's house. And she said he passed away, but like 2 of them looking to get robbed. She said, no, her dad passed away years ago. And he did that.
So
and then other guys said,
she was taken or she was struck?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Like, she was in the second row. I remember that.
Yeah.
But she said, he was in the roofing business and for construction, and he had large sums. And then another guy said, well, it depends how much money you have. But if you make $30,000 a year and you have $10,000 at home in cash, it's very odd. If you make $2 million a year and you have $100,000 in your house, that's not that odd. It's all relative to how much money is passing through you. You make $200,000 a year and you got $200,000 in cash. That's very odd. You make $2 million and have $200,000, then it's not very odd.
Right.
Which is like a logical answer. It depends how much you're making. But like, okay, so the lady whose son was a 911 operator, they were like, had to use an X on her. So, like, I've got Josh Dubin there to really dive into these people's psychological profiles and to get a feel for who we're dealing with. This guy spent 4 years of his life in Tallahassee. You couldn't make that up.
No.
I mean, first of all, the guy has an unbelievable resume as far as like who looks to work with him. The biggest people in the world.
Oh, I know. I know.
Like he is the top.
One of the biggest high-profile cases. I know. Oh yeah, he's number one. I've read about it.
He's number one that you're going to use. Okay. What is the probability that somebody would be number one? And I mean, first of all, there's a lot of lawyers, there's a lot of people wishing they could beat him. But he's at the top of the game. He's 48 years old. So that's been in business for over 20 years. Not too young, not too old. You're in the prime of your career. You're number one in your game in the country. And you went to Florida State, Tallahassee, for college. And you're from South Florida. So if there's anybody who would understand the Jewish kid from South Florida who made it, and Tallahassee, being that he spent 4 years of his life in Tallahassee, if there's anyone who would understand Tallahassee jurors, it's that guy.
I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances?
It's not like how Florida State like some unbelievable score. It's like, oh, we went to Yale. Like, that's kind of what I would expect. He's a top dog. Like, with his brain went to Yale. You know, he's really good friends with Stephen Bissell, Alan Bissell's son.
Oh, really?
His whole family. Yeah. Oh, he's from Florida. Florida plantation.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, he's a local guy. He was roommates in college with Ronnie Caponera. Ronnie Caponera was on the wrestling team. That's friends with Evan Brown. So in middle school, high school, I hung out with him all the time. He was Dubin's roommate in college. When he was sitting with me, he goes, you know Ronnie Caponera? I go, yeah, of course, Ronnie, the wrestler. He's like, yeah. He didn't tell me then, but when we were in court, I go, how do you know Ronnie? He goes, I was his roommate in college. I'm like, oh, my God. He's like, yeah, I told him that I was representing you. And he said, tell him I said hi. But, like,
you know, in a small world, sometimes it's like ridiculous how coincidence, right?
You're Jewish, Florida, we know the same people. Me and him know a whole bunch of the same people. You know, all these terrible people I graduated with that went to Florida State. You know, I mean,
he's just a little older than you. That's why. Wow.
It's like a secret habit. Years of graduating. And he's at the top of the team, goes to Tallahassee. And we're sitting there. Like, yeah, the 911 operator can. He's on our jury. I guess we gotta use an X there. That's great. Like, it wasn't picking normal people who you could, like, see what they know about the case or know about them. I mean, it's people who have, you know, nothing but a negative perception of you.
Right.
Nothing but starting so far in the negative. And you throw these coincidences in. Listen, coincidences, people give you the benefit of the doubt if they like you. If they hate you, they're not giving you the benefit of the doubt. That's the best factor there. I mean, I just thought that. But doesn't that sound true? Like, if somebody doesn't like you, they're not giving you the benefit of the doubt for anything.
It's not one benefit. It's a lot of doubt. And it's your life. It was not like, all right, I'm going to put him away for 3 years. He's a selling drug. It's not like that.
This was like, you know, if you know the Dolphins are this, you know what, if you think he's guilty. Yeah, the way she summed it up, it's like, yeah, I think he's guilty. Okay, well, not. Is there another possible explanation? Oh, no, he sent her kissy face. You're the best. Okay, well, I've sent the same message to Danny working on the fucking roof in the AC. You know, I don't really put that much thought into my emojis and 3 or 4 words thanking someone. Thank you. I'm so lucky to have you. Great job. Like, whatever. Like, that kind of confidence. You know, with a little sarcasm, that they go ahead and take the sarcasm and go, no, there's no such thing as sarcasm. You're buying presents for it. No, I've never bought the guy a present in my pocket. He's buying presents for it at the door. No. I hear promise. I gave Kate something from Bud that she asked me for a week earlier. And then as I was doing it, I I gave it to her. I thought, you know what? Instead of just think I'm hooking up with her and I'm giving it to her, so maybe it's better off saying it's for me. It'll be all right. Like, kind of like, I was joking around, half serious, / joking around. Like,
Of course.
I didn't want the guy to
tell that. You can tell.
But there was no, like, oh, my God, I think she's going to enjoy it. I was being so sarcastic. I'm like, I didn't know what to get a married man with kids. Like, just talking stupid on the phone, not thinking that that's now going to be taken and twisted and, like, you're going to take it literally. It was the same bag that she had asked me for on the wire weeks earlier for her. She said, can you get me some Bud from Bud?
Yeah.
That's her exact words. And so it was, can you get me? So I finally gave her. I tried to meet up with her. I couldn't. She was avoiding me. Like, holy shit. It wasn't even close to being a fair chance. I'm like numb and I'm cold.
You're angry, all of that, I know.
It's like, what are the 4 days? It's shock, it's anger, it's disbelief. I mentioned comfort, right? Is that like the 4 stages now, I'm saying?
I mean, Dad and I are like you. We're just looking at each other. What shit really happened. Oh.
I just, make sure that he's thinking, man, doesn't like get a fucking heart attack. It's the last thing I need to get her here. If anything happens like that, I'm like,
I missed like the last 30 seconds. I know Dad was.
Hey, Dad, relax. I don't want more pressure.
No. I know.
He's a lot better when he takes his meds, right?
Yeah, well, I actually was on the portal, the doctor's portal this morning, ordering some medication. So probably later today or tomorrow things will be ready and I'll be able to get some more. So that's one of the things that was doing. But
I thought when Janet said to me, I want to take one of the I'm taking one of the TVs. I thought she was kidding. I'm like,
oh, please, so ridiculous.
So
I was glad she said she would take the dog, but and obviously not looking to kick her out, but she needs to actually start looking for something. That's all. I'm not telling her tomorrow, but just she needs to start looking around.
Well, that's why what I said to her was, I don't know what my parents are planning on doing, but I can tell you that it's either going to be rented or sold. I said, I'm not telling you you need to get up next week.
Right.
But I'm sure, it's going to go in that direction because Janice, I ain't coming home.
Right. Right, you told her, so let me give her a little space. Let me give her like 2 weeks, and then I'll tell her. I have to make other arrangements. That's not how
I probably know you. You could say, I told her there's a million other things that are taking care of now. So if you could keep that house clean enough, you could show the house with her in it.
Oh, yeah. No.
I tell her, honestly, I'm not looking to kick her out, to list it, and then, like kick her out and then list it and have it sit for 6 months vacant while she could have been living there. I don't want to do that to her.
No.
But if she keep it clean enough, you could show it with her in it.
What do you think time-wise is reasonable? Because I'm obviously not listing anything yet, but 3 weeks, 4 weeks, should be looking. No, not necessarily to rent it, but to probably to get it ready for renting. or selling. There's a lot of stuff that has to be cleaned out. The second bedroom you can't walk into. Can't walk into it. The one to the right. You can't walk in there because she has tons. She brought it all down from when her parents moved, I guess.
Right.
And she had to clear out. So there's racks. There's racks and racks of clothes and shoes. It blocks the whole room. You can't walk in there. So it has to be cleaned out and freshened up so that,
You can move from the storage unit and have presentable for showing. I'm fine with her staying there until it's rented or sold. If
Right.
you can't have it presentable for showing, then she needs to vacate.
Okay. So
So
give her a little time.
if she has to get a new storage unit for $300, better for her to get a new storage and all her stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just to make it.
presentable.
Yeah, because the realtor comes in there, he's going to say, "You can show this." So, yeah, we'll straighten it out. We'll get to that. That's a few weeks in. Got to go.
Like that, I've been in her mom for so long, the house became like me. Like that house became like a piece of me. Like I wasn't ever gonna leave. I was never gonna sell that house. I was always gonna keep it. That was my home. Like I literally like.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't seem real. Like that doesn't fucking click.
No, reality has not set in. Not set in because it's 48 hours and you're not stupid
48 hours.
You haven't even gotten out. Not even.
Hey, what is this? Oh, yeah, man. Thanks. All right. No, well, like, it doesn't seem real. I'm still, it's less than 48 hours, but I came back from the jail. Like, as soon as I got done upstairs, they put me in a holding cell downstairs. They walked me off to the van. They put me in a separate area on the van. People were talking to me through the visor. You know, they couldn't see me. It was all metal. Like, Adelson's on here. They're asking me on the case. That would be easy. And then it took me off. And they had to change out my clothes, my jailhouse uniform. And then they immediately took me to clean out my cell, and they put me in this cell for observation. I've been here since Monday. And this, like, I'm sure
Dan said originally, because when I spoke to him, he was done, I said, it's going to be 48 hours. Could be another day. I said, oh, Dan, please. So that's what he wrote down just now. And that's what I couldn't do because the call was coming.
So it's been,
it's not like he has control there.
But it's like, you got this mirror, it's a steel door with mirror with safety glass, but that mirror film on it. So you can't see out of it. Someone could be standing on the other side of the glass looking at you. You wouldn't know if they were standing right outside the door. So So they came back. And they said, "Fucking, we're not going to be looking at any of the evidence." So I mean, when I saw what Kaplan did for the last 2 hours, I got sick. Because I said to myself, if you're not following what you should be following, and then when she was giving the instructions, it was like, and then whatever Dan did, she like poo-pooed and was like, "This is not puzzle pieces. This is a mountain. Y'all, this is a mountain." And she was using everything that Wendy had ever written or said, and everything that you had written, and they're tying that all in with my names. Like, what is Wendy's fucking book not anything to do with me and my trial? Nothing. But when you tell people like what she wrote, and then you read the 2 lines out of a book, it sounds like she was making it, like she was hating on Tallahassee. And but Wendy just got up here and told you how much she liked the place. Little place on the way to the place. This was just a little stop on The wording could have been worse. It said in the book, a little stop on the way to civilization.
I mean, just like what you said, you say things, you don't analyze. I'm going to write this. I'm going to say this. I wonder how that will. No, you don't do that.
Well, she probably wrote it in 2008, and now they can sit there and say, look, she was what a good author does. She was foreshadowing. I mean, this wasn't. Wendy said this was an imaginary character. I mean, an imaginary character who's a professor in North Florida State with 2 kids. The town that sounds just like Tallahassee, the Panhandle, on the way to stop along the way to civilization. So it's the proof. Like, she's even writing it for you guys. Like, holy shit. Everything Dan did, everything that we had answers for, everything that we could explain. You can't explain coincidences. I mean, I wish you used another object that it was just said they asked for $5,000. Why you said that TV is fine, she was just being careful, whatever. Has nothing to do with TV. It must be something with TV repairman, TV joke, TV program. Obviously, it keeps coming up. Don't tell us we're stupid. Like, it became like that with the coincidences. The coincidences was, it was like meant to insult. Like, Wendy just happened to show up at the house in elevator. Drive by. What do you think there's one? When I first heard that it was like, and everything that caught it in the first trial, it was like after, so I said, okay, I was like, Wendy was over here there. Like, why would she be over there? That doesn't make any sense. This is making it up. Make it look guilty. And then I found out that she really was in that car. Because when I first heard it, I thought, oh my God, this guy's full of shit. When did he drive and he her, like, pull away fastly, speed away? Like, she's over here there. That's crazy. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And someone told me, no, she really was. And I was like, when I heard that, they're like, they were like, they think she's involved because she was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, why would she be there? What is this?
Just because then they said to her, you saw that. Why didn't you call the preschool to see how the children were? Why didn't you see how Danny was? Well, why would she think there's a problem? She thought it was a tree down. They just closed off a whole bunch of the street. She really didn't think there was anything. If she thought that her children were in danger, she would have called the preschool.
They said all fire rescue was gone. The paramedics were gone. The road was blocked and it had yellow tape. Well, that would make perfect sense. But Jesus Christ, I mean, it's not like she showed up 6 hours later. It's not like she showed up an hour before, an hour after she shows up. Because as Kappelman said, she couldn't help herself.
Yeah.
When they say the most obvious answer, the simplest answer is the real answer? It's not. I mean, what's the most obvious answer for Wendy leaving her alibi and then showing up there? What's the only answer you could have that as soon as she leaves her house, she doesn't show up on the street?
It's just so stupid. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
But here's the thing. What's the most obvious answer?
I'm trying to see if it was done.
She couldn't help herself.
Couldn't help herself.
Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think she's doing showing up there at elevator? I mean, every time you tell someone it's a coincidence, what you're really doing is telling them not to
Don't believe this.
Don't believe what looks to be true. It's just a coincidence. Like, when facts line up, Sometimes the facts line up because it's what happened. Other times the facts line up because it's a coincidence. Like, a lot of times facts line up because this really happened. And then people go and say, man, that's just a coincidence. Like, sometimes.
Coincidence, which is really what they were. And all the explaining doesn't help. All the explaining.
You start with it. Yeah. I mean, you started, yeah, was it a coincidence that, like, she wrote that in her pocket book? Yeah. There's something modeled after her, and she was just pretty much saying, like, she just saw Tallahassee as never a permanent stop. She didn't really need to say, like, on the way to civilization, because it made it seem like this place ain't civilized. She's above. I'm better than this place. And when someone says this is not civilized, you're saying, like, this is not up to my standards. It's what the captain wants to show. Wendy was unhappy. Her mom was unhappy. Even Charlie was unhappy. It doesn't affect my life one bit. Not one drop. I haven't lived in the same town as Wendy since 1995. When she lived in Miami with Danny, I didn't even remember her having lived in Miami. I have to be reminded. I probably saw her twice.
Yeah, I know.
When I lived down there, I was so busy working wherever. We would have been on holiday when they'd come over your house. I was up to your house. It's unfathomable. Like what I saw in trial, what it turned into on that one day. It was like the air got sucked out of the room. It was, I can't even describe it. It was like what went from being like I literally came in that day, feeling Dan is the fucking closer. And we're going to close the thing out because we're, I felt like we were going into the final inning of the lead, and you got the best reliever pitcher coming in on the mound. Like he's not going to put this up because he's asleep.
There was too much evidence to review that it could possibly be done that day. We knew it had to be at least one more day or at least 2 more days. And then they walked it back in.
They had lunch, and I thought they weren't even writing, but he was telling them to look this, and this up. It was.
They looked at nothing. No, they looked at nothing. They did nothing.
They put the autopsy photos up for 8-10 minutes each time. So like left the photos up on the screen while she's talking twice. I mean, they were in evidence, so they're allowed to bring it up. So in closing, they bring up listen, you calling my parents' home phone number? You were only there for 3 months in 2014.
Yeah,
3 months were there. So, but they put up a chart showing 14.
That's what I didn't understand. I mean, it was January, February, and half of March.
Yeah, I said, so I called that number a handful of times. They were only there 75 days, not 14, 15, 16. The house was sold in 15. They had already been gone a year when the time that had been sold. So what are we, you're showing up a chart. I'm calling from my cell phone. I'm not calling from a phone. I'm not calling a phone to call. I'm not having them get a phone, a separate phone. I'm calling my parents' landline. They made it demonstrable. They thought it was important.
Yeah.
I mentioned will fly. The FBI said to show these landlines because they have to believe that they're more secure. No. You use a landline and the reception's bad on your cell phone. That's number one reason I use it. The only time I said on all the wires I wanted privacy was when after the arrest Mike told me, don't talk to Katie, don't talk to anybody about this case. You cannot do that whatsoever. So when Eric calls me up, I start talking about Katie. I go, you know what, I remember Mike had the phone with that because so don't talk. So I said, Eric, let me call you on your cell phone. I'm going to call you from the landline. That's the one time I really did. I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't know what Eric was even going to say or ask. That was me. That was the one and only time. And clearly in that case, I said, I'm going to call you on a different number. I never said to Katie, hey, give me a different number to call you on. I'm going to call you from a different number. I'm looking to hide it. There was no, these people, the juror number 15 totally understood what was needed to bring back a guilty verdict. But beyond a reasonable doubt, means no other possible way you can explain that. Not paid, but I generally think that I can't say the word coincidence 3 times in a case to buy it. Jury has spoken.
I'm going to listen to that. As soon as I finish some of this other stuff, I'm going to listen to that excerpt because I wanted to hear her exact words. I want to have those words.
And you know what? I'm sure she didn't screw it up. She's not screwing anything up to make it an appealable case. She's not going to make any. She's not going to leave that window open. Not on this case. People screw up cases all the time. This was her sensible to go. You know, this was her big case. Like she did, like the way it sounded. I mean, I know her words were careful, but the way she was presenting it and the way it was coming across was like, these are common sense guys.
No, it was totally folksy. I know it was.
It was folksy. It was like, you know, like I was hoping that Dan would. I thought he was going to say this: is that, you know, you have to be so sure. The kid once said, like, this is something that he says in closing, where he goes, you have to be so sure that you know what happens, that you would be willing to bet your own life, because you're about to take somebody else's life. You know what's crazy too is like when I'm sitting here, when I've been here for the last year and a half, like in my head, I'm picturing myself coming home and walking through the door and walking into my backyard and like seeing my dog and being home. Like that place became me. Like that was like my stamp on that place. It wasn't just a fucking piece of property I owned.
Well, I knew that.
I mean, it literally was like me. Like I was a homebody. Like I loved being there. I loved the outside. I loved every fucking part of it.
I know what you love.
I have to go off of this. Nature said it's done. I read too many things. Like I literally had a really good sharp memory of certain things. It's like ingrained in my head. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Holy shit. You know that picture of the uncle with me rolling and Enzo?
Picture of what?
Yeah, that picture I have of me rolling and Enzo above the uncle.
Yeah.
It's still hanging up, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't been in yet. You want that picture?
I don't want to see it. I got it. I had black shorts on, blue shorts. everything that was about. Like, that's just everything that makes me happy.
Like, didn't want much. Really didn't want much.
Just want to hang out with my son, hang out with my dog. Like, that's it. Never mess with anyone. Like, that is what I want to hear about that. It's like I'm fucking dead. I mean, it's even worse because I'm alive, but I'm dead. I mean, there was no fucking way that trial would be won in Tallahassee. I said to Dan, you can do that case 100 times up here. And he looked at me and he said, no, that case is not going to be won up here. And he looked at me and he said, no, that's true.
No.
But
he blamed himself more, but he picked the jury, but he didn't. He did that the right way also. He did everything the right way.
Well, maybe if it was brought the very best out. We fucking brought the best out. Yeah, we both looked at the 911 operator and we can't have her. We looked at the lieutenant from the fire department, who also was a 90-day cop and an arson investigator. He told us he had a program. Every case he ever investigated, he never went to court because his case was so solid, and he was like G.I. Joe of law enforcement. He sure doesn't make it down there. That's two. I mean, we just lost two exes for no other reason other than, of course, these people, they all knew about the case. Everyone knew about the case. And Danny even said, he goes, I even question the ones that we have that got on because they said they knew nothing. They tell the truth. There's no mistaking the fucking hoopla that was in the courthouse because of the case that was going on that day. I mean, well, I had the mayor of Tallahassee come out to be a juror.
Oh, I know.
He sat at the jury pool for all day. He came in the second to last one. It was a fucking joke. This is a fucking joke. For no other explanation. This is a total fucking shit show up here in Tallahassee. I mean, there was no way, if someone told me that you were not going to get a fair trial in Tallahassee, you don't stand a chance. You know what? They were fucking right. Whoever told me that was absolutely right. And I should have looked at things a little bit differently. You agree with me now?
I agree with you now.
And what is, what did I have in my ear? No, everything's going to be fine. You're going to get a fair trial. No reason. No, I'm innocent. There's no reason to go do anything. I'll take the trial on the win. 12-0. Not one fucking person. One person even wanted to really go over tapes and listen to stuff. I mean, they didn't listen to both tapes results to beat them because it would have taken them an hour and a half. There was nothing to review. The TV show for them. And I think the Chiefs are better than the Dolphins. All right, y'all, you know what we need to do. If y'all think the guilty, vote guilty. That's not really. I mean, for a murder case, the unreasonable doubt, I can't see a fucking pie chart showing me calling my parents' landline on the whole phone number on the first trip and the second trip. I called my parents' landline because they were home. There's nothing you're hiding by calling from my cell phone to their landline that they've had since 1979. By the way, did you have that number in the first house too? Did you just transfer it, or was that the one you got?
Yeah, no, that's the first number, and they were, at that time they let us move it to the new house. You know, so that's our number.
I moved to the first house at 76.
Never had a different number. 76. Yeah, I don't even remember anymore. My mind is pretty shot, to be honest with you. It's a long time, and I never changed the number. You guys had, I had that number forever, and you guys had the 7536909 added the kids line. We had that added when you guys get older. You needed your own phone. Otherwise, it was the extra phone.
You moved into the new house when Wendy was like 8 months old, right?
Baby, yeah. Yeah. No, 79. We moved in 70. We moved in the new house in 79. That's right.
So you lived in the house before that since when?
We lived in the other house 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
So like 76.
Yeah. It even have been before that. It's been a year or so before. I know when we bought the property, maybe it's 74, and they built the house. I don't know. That's I don't know.
Oh, I actually built the first house, yeah?
Yeah, the first house, the Ben Moss house, and what do you call it? In Broken Woods Estate.
Yeah, I didn't build that. I thought you just bought that house.
Oh no, we didn't. No, that house we bought from this builder who had built it for himself as a home. The second house here, we built and we were waiting for the construction to be finished. Yeah.
So it's like
Wendy was a baby.
So you have the same number since 1976. That's registered to you. That is calling from the same number I've had since 1996. Registered to me. And they're saying they're creating a pie chart that has to show what? That you didn't want to use your cell phone, you wanted me to call you on my landline, on your landline? Well, I'm still talking on my cell phone. What are we avoiding? What on God's green earth could we be avoiding? Not that. They can now put up a pie chart that shows 99.8% of the time I don't know that number except during the first trip. It does say something that's 99.8%, don't you think? It just happened to be when I called the phone. There's nothing hiding. That means you're in your house. That's all. What was that? What was that proof?
Oh, what? I didn't hear you.
I said, what was that proof?
Yeah, what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything. Nothing
shows
proves. There's no proof.
It shows no proof. I mean, when Jeff was off, the 2 times he left town that whole summer, were the 2 trips that these guys went on.
Yeah.
That's weird. He really only took 2 trips that summer by himself to leave town, and they were both over the same time these guys came up.
I'll tell you what was weird. He testified that we bet him 7 or 8 times. Is that what he said? Something like that?
Yeah.
You know how many times I met him? Once. Came to pick up Wendy. I was in with the boys watching them, and Dad spoke to him at the door for a couple of minutes. That was it. That was our one meeting. 7 or 8 times? You really know the Adelson family well. No.
Yeah.
No. One time. Don't you like to with your teeth?
Listen, he thought that he was getting framed for this.
Right.
He thought for sure that he had just, because Wendy was asking him, what day are you leaving? You know, so and then he kind of throw in there, oh, she wanted to know the route that I was taking with David.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. That's what she was.
She wanted to make sure he was leaving on a Friday. So, and the guy who rented a similar car, it's going to look like she did it. I mean, he's literally making her out to be the mastermind.
I honestly didn't even know. I thought I knew almost everything. I didn't even know until the trial that it wasn't Wendy who even mentioned his name. It was her friend that went into the police station with her. This girl, Jane McPherson, she did it, not Wendy. I didn't know that.
But that's not how it came across. So she had it. So maybe Wendy put it to her, and then she went ahead and said it. So they put it together. Jesus Christ! Like, I honestly, I guess for the last year and a half, I pictured myself coming home. And my whole time here, remember I used to always say, like, trust me, as long as I get out of here, I'll be fine.
I heard that 100 times, and I said, that's good, just be strong, get through this trial.
And I just...
Really? Oh,
I close my eyes and picture good things coming home to my house. The one thing I always said, I want to sit in my backyard with my dog, relax for a few days. But all I wanted to do. Oh my God.
Honey, I'm going to go help Dad out a little bit, and I need to get a couple of calls in that are important. So I'm going to go do that, and then just call back in a bit whenever you want. But I must get somebody to get done. I don't know. I've been out here all this time. I left her there. Let me go walk inside. Let me go fresh there. Now I came out on the balcony so I could speak privately. Okay, I just looked in. I see her. So what's happening is there's a call she has to make before she can. Call she has to make before she can talk to you. So that's basically what we're waiting for. So I won't be able to. I know I can't. For legal reasons, I can't put her on now, but she wants to talk to you. So we're waiting for the answer on that. So just hang in there, please, and I'll let Dad say goodbye to you. Hold on.
Don't leave me yet.
No. Okay. No problem. I won't. Thank you. Don't be fair. I just want, at least to just get you out of there.
I don't want to sit around with people and see me crying. I'd probably sit in my room.
Oh, honey. They're not, Charlie. They're not gonna come. This psychologist, whomever, they're not coming back to evaluate you anymore, right? This is it, and then
I don't think she already came. I guess she came today, and I told her I was fine. I came yesterday, and I came today. And I'm like, listen, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to harm myself, but keeping my here is not compromised. Like I'm in a solitary confinement evaluation. So cameras and a nurse. Like I feel like it's a box. another local box with like blood and shit on the wall, shit on the floor. People are insane that are here. They pee on the floor. They throw their head, look at it, they shit, bro. So I don't touch anything in here. So I was kind of like the only funny story I could tell you from the trial. So there was a point at which I was standing up just to stretch. I was standing up behind my chair, so where the bailiff is. And I looked over, and I see this girl with long curly hair. And she's like okay looking. And then I'm looking at her, and there's this girl sitting next to her who's like smiling at me. She's wearing this blue dress. She kind of like Jennifer Aniston. I'm like, oh, that girl's pretty cute. She's smiling at me. And I'm thinking, it's probably like some law school students from school or local. Maybe. Like I've heard sometimes with like people get high profile cases, they get people that like get attracted to them and they become like groupies or something like that. But they give me like a really warm smile, like a little blonde, like waving hi to me. So I'm looking at them and smiling at them back and then nodding my head. And then Dan comes over to me. He goes, "You're gonna stop looking at your sister because there's a lot of people here. You shouldn't be like saying hi." I go, "What?" I go, "Dan, I didn't see my sister. Is my sister here? Like, where is she?" He goes, "That's the one thing that's kind of funny." He goes, "You were just smiling and nodding your head at her." I go, "Oh shit, Dan." He goes, "That's her friend Toba, and that's your sister." I go,
Morgan, she was sitting right in front of the Martell.
She was sitting to Wendy's left.
Yeah.
Or whoever it was. Yeah, he goes, "Charlie, the girl must lose your sister." I go, "Oh shit, I had no idea." I thought she was like attracted to me, smiling and like acknowledging me. And I was smiling back. I'd never seen Wendy's hair like that. I guess it's been so long since I've seen her, I didn't realize that was her. I didn't know it until he like called me and he's like, "Stop because you shouldn't be making contact with anyone in the gallery."
Right.
I called him back. I thought these girls were saying hi to me. Because that girl's your sister.
Oh.
I go, "Oh."
Wow, you never told me.
What's that?
You said you never told me that. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. I didn't know it until after. And I saw them looking at me and like the blood like gave you a little wave with the hand.
Yeah.
So I thought people were being kind to me. So like, I'm like, man, I know because he said something about my sister being here. I'm like, where is she? I haven't seen her yet. That's what I was just talking to you about. Like, you shouldn't be making contact. I go, I wasn't talking. Where's my sister at? That was your sister. Like, oh. That's crazy. And there was only 40 people. I mean, saw it from the defense table to where she was sitting. It couldn't be more than 35, 40 feet. That was like, I don't know if that's that or funny or both. But that sums everything up. And Sean sent me a couple pictures, like he sent me 2 emails. Each one had a picture of the 2 of us. Just going for a photo of the 2 of us when I've been out here the last couple of years. I've never been in trouble with anything in my life before.
I just feel like we were all so fooled because everything was going perfectly. It could not have gone better. The quote reviews were unbelievable, and when you testified, that was it. That's when people said, "You know what? He's actually telling the truth." They had a whole different view of the trial.
He was saying all these people that were following it were saying, like, weighing all this stuff up, like, okay, it's beyond reasonable doubt. That's everything was positive. Like, you understand, I lived there for 2 weeks of, and then the week before and the week before that, Haiti was there going through everything, getting dressed up, going to court, going to jury selection for the 3 days, doing the case with Dan, watching everything go on, watch us like annihilate witness after witness, like literally like Jeff Lacoste looked like the lion fool that he was. Then following him
switching and
was
Ryan red and moving, and it looks ridiculous.
And then following him was Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was a lying racist thief, who was posting online pictures of me and saying, "Who wants to take bets?"
What happened when Dan said to him, "Did you post anything?" "No." And he started reading the post. "What's this? What's this? What'd you say here?" I mean, he totally just beat him up and discredited him, but...
No, he destroyed him on the stand.
Yeah, he did.
Totally destroyed him on the stand. Only for the state to rehabilitate him and look like, hey, these guys are best friends, and that's why he said what he said, and now they have been falling out. So, but you know what, at the time, I'm watching it, and I'm like, good. This is showing the jury where the state is bringing witnesses from and what their motives are. Like, every witness had a
That's a smart jury. Yeah, that's a smart jury. You're right.
Like, right. I saw people when he was doing that, they were pairing him up. I mean, I would look and say, okay, every witness you're bringing forth has a motive. Every witness has a motive. You know?
They weren't really witnesses to anything. They weren't witnesses.
For the most part, Alicia Rivera, I think, was very truthful. So I think he tried to add stuff to the story to complete more and more. I mean, listen, he didn't get interviewed until 6 months after he was arrested. He was arrested in May. He got interviewed, I guess, the end of September. So May, June, July, August, September, May, June. He had 4 months of talking to family and looking online and talking to them and finding out what getting fed stuff. So could he have embellished stuff a little bit to give the police more of a story that fits what they wanted? Of course, they already released that probable cause affidavit. He already, you know, who knows what? I've never met the guy before.
No,
who knows what? So it's like, but was he trying to add stuff to flavor it up? Yeah, but he was one of the probably more truthful witnesses.
He was. I know.
You know, like the key witnesses they bring up are lying to fucking assholes. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know what? Like, the state's falling behind. They're falling behind. And Dan says to me, like, go up there. And, we did not have a script. There was no script at all, Mom. He said to me, you guys know, you need to be able to answer my questions just the way that you're going to answer her questions.
Right.
You got to be able to answer both equally. And if I give you a script or I tell you the questions I'm going to ask ahead of time, you're going to be firing back like that. Right. When you go ahead and then she starts asking questions and your responses are real slow and not real good, it's going to be very obvious to the jury that it was all set up, that you're set up with questions from me. Because I want you to be able to answer everything, think about everything, and be the same. So there was no script, and I was the same I was probably less nervous with her than I was with him because his went so long. That was the tea while I was talking. Being up there was stressful. So it was actually, as it dragged on, it got a little harder for me to focus with him. With her, it was less time. It was probably a third of the amount of time it was with him. Yeah. How long do you think I was up there with her? 2 hours?
2 hours.
So after 2 hours of questioning, I pulled up to her cross-examination, I get logical answers to every single thing that happens.
Yeah.
I go into the weekend. I'm getting all these text messages, screenshots from Ray about how great everything's going, how everybody's actually changing, and everything's great. I give my food away on Sunday. I make a couple calls over the weekend. People I hadn't talked to in forever, just feeling good, feeling like, hey, I'm coming out of this. Like I'm actually coming out. And then I walked in, and then she did that with the cut and paste, and she had 2 hours with autopsy photos that she kept putting up for extended periods of time and talking about. And it shot the air everyone. It was like sitting and watching a Dateline special.
I know.
It was just going through it again, talking about the book, talking about Wendy showing up, talking about the landlines, talking about all this mound of evidence, kissy face. They dated for 4 or 5 months after. No, I didn't. I broke up with her that week. I can prove it. Like, she's restating facts that aren't facts. And then they go, whatever a prosecutor says during closing is not to be taken as evidence. You're supposed to rely on what you hear during the case.
Right.
So, I mean, the prosecutor who's very truthful in upholding the law, you should ignore. Just rely on what you heard during the case. No, you're going to get influenced like crazy by what you just watched for 2 hours. And then Dan, whatever Dan said, she just went and poo-pooed it in her next 30 minutes. Look at the mounds. Like, basically, don't be fooled by the... Don't be fooled by the saying it's a coincidence. Her book is a coincidence. Her showing up is a coincidence. TV is a coincidence. Yeah, they all fucking are. I mean, she is. I wish, like anything, I got her something different when she moved out of the house. You have no idea. You could have bought any. You could have had me buy any fucking present on planet Earth but that.
You know, you look back and you think of all these things, but they have no meaning. She just pulled a bunch of strings together and made it look like tied up in a bow. This is it.
Yeah, but the TV joke, the TV joke, the TV repairman, and then the alleged hitman family shows up looking for money, and you start talking about TVs. Like, Brian Watson said to me, he said, you know, all that TV talk, because when they crack the code on that, they know exactly what you're talking about. I go, Brian, they're never going to crack the TV code because it has nothing in the fucking world to do with the TV. Nothing. But why on earth is the TV getting repaired that day? I'm making a TV joke, and you're referencing the TV as soon as the hitman shows up. Smells like shit. Not shit. But you can't walk away from the word TV other than just to say it's a coincidence. And you can't walk away from when you show up at the crime scene an hour later other than to say it's a coincidence. Like, those two things, if there was any meaning, put it this way, if there was any meaning behind either one, you're guilty. But to have both of those events happen, and then they're both coincidences, like, then two things are a coincidence. Like, how many times are you going to tell me something's a coincidence before you're going to say that you're full of shit? This question. Like, that's basically how she presented it to the jury. And let's put it this way. If there was TV code and it was TV meant for that, you know, then it would be you're guilty. If it was Wendy showing up because she knew what happened, then it means you're guilty. But it was fucking random events, coincidences. But two big ones. It kills you. Like, I mean, think about it. Wendy either showed up because she knew or showed up because it was a coincidence. It's one of those two. And this jury wasn't believing that it was a coincidence. I guarantee if you poll each person on the jury, they're going to say she knew. That's why she was there.
Yeah.
She had to know.
You had to know.
She had to know. I mean, it's not even 1 in 1,000. It's not a trip she takes every day on a route to anything. It would only be on a trip. How many times has she driven by that house? Like, and there's 24 hours in a day. So, and she's, other than going and picking up and dropping off kids, she's not going to the house to grab anything or pick anything up, or she'd be like, oh, I was going to go pick up my old bicycle or whatever. She was just on the way someplace. She was going out of her way.
Going to the liquor store.
She was going out of her way, on her way to someplace. Did she take the most direct route? Nope. Did she pass?
She lived there, what, 5 years, 50, whatever? She knew how to go.
She probably would have. But it's like, did she take the most direct route from her house to the liquor store? No. Did she pass other liquor stores along the way that would have been way closer? Yeah. Show up an hour afterwards because the cattleman said she just couldn't help herself. I mean, what's the most reasonable explanation? Is the simple explanation. And she couldn't help herself. She knew. And if she knew, then what I said happened couldn't have happened. And it's that simple. And that's literally what they dumb the case down to. Is if she knew, if we feel she knew, that's why she was there on that time, on that date, then everything else that I said can't be believed. Like if you follow that logic, yeah, cut everything out, make it simple. Like if you think that she was there because she knew something was going to get done and she couldn't help herself, then everything else that the prosecution said at that point is then it couldn't have happened the way I said it happened. She had to have advanced knowledge. And if she had advanced knowledge, then I had advanced knowledge, and this was the I mean, you can dumb the whole case down to being like, if she was there for what Kappelman said she was there for, then you got to convict her. If she was there for whatever Kappelman said she was there for, and Kappelman said she couldn't help herself, based on that alone, you got to convict her. Or do you believe that it was a chance? It was a chance time. But she was going to a liquor store, passing closer liquor stores, and she probably would have, it was probably a 1 in 10,000 chance of that ever happening.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I mean, think about it. Like, would you agree? Like, you're traveling 6 miles out of your way to take a less direct route at that time on that day. Like, I think if you're a juror, you want to oversimplify everything. You could say, what's the probability of that being chance versus she knew, and that's why she was headed that way? Probably 1 in 10,000, just being a chance. More than likely, she was going, like Captain said, she was going to check it out. Couldn't help herself. Why do you think they made such a big deal about, oh, you didn't call the daycare, you didn't do this, you didn't do that? Because if they could make her look like she knew about it, then what I said happened couldn't have happened.
But she never saw anything by the house. She just didn't go down that far. And what they said was a vehicle matching the description. A vehicle, not license plate, You haven't.
No, she was there. Mom, they tracked her cell phone.
Yeah,
Her cell phone. What? That was definitely her.
Oh no.
That was 1,000% her. So 1,000%, if Kaplan is right, she couldn't help herself. You have to convict. And that's basically how they were able to dumb the case down.
They did everything. Absolutely did.
Yeah. They dumbed it down to a couple little things, and then you put in the crazy emails and Wendy's foreshadowing in her book, and you got people you don't like that are shitting on Tallahassee, that think they're smarter than everybody else. They have a lot of money. That she's showing up at the crime scene. If you think that she showed up there because she had advanced knowledge, and I guess beyond a reasonable doubt, you got to convict. I mean, what do you think the chances are of Wendy showing up?
There's more than one insurance. Crazy.
It's got to be more than 1 in 10,000 because of the timing, especially the date. If she drove by at 8 in the morning, it would have meant nothing. 10 in the morning, it would have meant nothing. Like, 6 at night, it would have meant nothing. An hour after, she's checking because she's getting antsy. Those are the things that you say a 1 in 10,000 chance that she shows up on that date at that time. The code actually being a TV, the TV was the joke, that TV was getting repaired, and that was her mom setting up the TV. That was all part of it. What are the chances of that? You know? Like, why pick the word TV? There's lots of words in the English language. Like, that's what they dumbed it down to. They dumbed it down to the chances of using the word TV and when he's showing up at the crime scene. Like, I'm just in shock. All right, I'm just going crazy here. It was a fucking joke. Honestly, like, I should have gone with my...
We can't go there.
No, but I knew he... Do you remember one time I went for a walk with you and we could end up in North Carolina and a whole bunch of other stuff that could happen?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I went for that? It wasn't long. Remember what it was? It was in the springtime.
No, I know, honey. I do.
It was at night, remember?
Mm-hmm. I do.
The one thing we want to get some fresh air. We go well off. Let me tell you something. We can end up going to North Carolina. All this other stuff is going to happen.
I remember.
And I said, I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. Listen. 6, 7 months. What's up? It'll be 6, 7 months. Yeah. Everything will be good. Improve your innocence. I wasn't too far off. You remember where we were? We were like halfway down my street. Like, not outside the farm store, outside my house, but like...
Charlie, I could picture it. I know exactly where we were. I'm old, but not that bad. I remember exactly.
Not by my house. It was the middle of the street. It was like halfway between the end of the street and the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me tell you something. This is what's going to fucking happen. I can promise you. all moving up in North Carolina. What did I do about it? It's like, it's just like when you're so sure of something, if you have such a gut feeling on something, like I said the other night with Benzo, that's why the fuck I didn't act on something. Say, fuck everybody. Like, I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my dog. Like, I know that I could have acted on my instinct, and my instinct wouldn't be any worse than what I have now. I can tell you that. And I had other people who were smarter than me saying stuff.
I know.
It was after
I know what you're saying.
and I'm like, no, it's not bad. Gotcha. It's been fun. Before I'm thinking about the house and everything.
I walked inside now. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Dan. Spoke to Sergeant Whaley. He is going to do what he can to resolve this. All right, that was just now. Just a second.
Okay.
And I walked in because it was too hot outside, and it said, remember when I said to you earlier, it says, yesterday, this is an email from yesterday, it said, confirm your order number such and such has been delivered. It was one giant. And this morning at 7:27, it's a different order number. It was another giant. So I guess I made a mistake, but I ordered. So two of those have been delivered, one yesterday, one today. So I guess wherever you are, you'll eventually be able to get it. But there are two.
Oh, and they came in today.
One came in yesterday. I have the email. One came in yesterday late in the evening, and it says, this one is saying, that says it's delivered. Your loved one has received your gift. And this one says the same thing, but it's 7:27 in the morning, and the order numbers are different. So it's not a repeat of the same order. There's two separate ones. So just so you know.
I'm just curious, when did you place that order?
Let's see if I can find the date. I can find the date. I just have to go back. Let's see. Order number. Let me go back to the history. Hold on. 161 and 484. Okay, I have to go back onto the website to do it for the show. I have to just pull up like the history. Not backward. I can't get it from there. Maybe look at the email. Let me try this. Let me just tell Dan that I told you. Hold on. What you said. Okay.
Wendy's still there with that?
She's on, and Dad just came upstairs, so you walked her down, Harvey? Yeah. I know. I've been on the phone. Okay. Let me just see. 28. Yeah. Your eye care order. Let me just see. 959. One of them was ordered on Where's the date on this? Where's the email? One of them was ordered October 28th, and the second one, and had not been delivered yet. That was 959. And the second one was ordered, this one. I can't see the date. I don't know, but they are. They are definitely two separate orders. So they have two separate order numbers. So that's why I know it's not a repeat of the same one. So if there's any issue, I'll just give you the order numbers. Okay. But they definitely. So they definitely two of those. So yeah. I'm sorry.
Our first trial had a million things against her, and and not top lawyers, and no jury consultants.
Right.
Three people had voted for her.
Probably because it's the jury. No matter. The whole thing is it's the jury.
Yeah, but by the time my case came up, the plaintiff and the court all over the place. I mean, it's sad. I mean, literally, Mom.
It's not.
That's fine. We'll figure it out this week. When I get out of there, I'll have to leave the packages. I mean, I may very well have gotten the package last Monday. I probably did when I came back from trial that night to get to.
Oh yeah, Monday. That's right. That would have been okay. It may be, Charlie. It may be. Yeah.
That picture that I got in my kitchen above the dog bowl.
Yeah.
Don't throw that picture away.
I wouldn't do that. Nobody's going to.
I got another picture of me holding Roman when I was sitting in the black car. He was sitting on my lap.
Yeah, I know. I have that picture. I have a copy of that picture. I have it in my album.
So at my house, I got it.
I will. Yes, I will. Don't worry. None of those pictures are going anywhere. Nothing's going anywhere.
Yeah, I just don't want. I mean, I know it's guilty. Like I think like for just never read your picture. You have no idea, Mom. I remember the one thing I did when I was with the people recognizing I did it every day again.
He will come visit. He will know you. Trust me, Charlie. He'll recognize you. Trust me.
I can't tell you how it's gonna fucking kill me to see my kids in class. It's gonna kill me to see him show up in a fucking prison. It's gonna fucking kill me. Like I honestly don't know what's worse. I really like. I'm not suicidal, but I'm saying I just look at things and I'm like holy shit! Like I mean, it's like any enjoyment is sucked out, like completely sucked out, and like the mental aspect of knowing better and knowing what you had and knowing what life was like and knowing what you're missing out on, like seeing everything going on without you. It's I can't tell you what I think is worse. So,
no, I know what it's worse. It's nothing worse. I know it.
I don't know. Like I'm weak to watch everything from above. I'm fucking take that. You don't understand all this, everything all at once. I'm not sure at all. But I get why they come on here. I mean, it's like
It's protocol, Charlie. You know, it's just what they do.
She knows everything. Everything and anything. Any facet of possible enjoyment. Everything that you can possibly enjoy is going to be mental torture. What you're missing. You know? I mean, it's buried in concrete. You can hear, you can see, you can talk. You're like, if the world's going on around you, you're just trapped. It's like, it's rough, well.
It's very rough. It's very rough.
You know, and I talked to Dan, Dan's realistic, and he's like, look, you know, you got to pray for a miracle.
Right. Yeah. I'm not grasping at straws, but we are trying anything and everything. So, which is trying. Oh. Can you hear me, hon? Charlie, can you hear me? Honey, can you hear me? Honey? Can you hear me, honey?